right, thank you for staying tuned. Joining us to continue this conversation is Femi Aratokwali, a security expert, and we'll be taking a look at the security situation of Nigeria, in particular the threats that was issued just on the 23rd of October 2022. Thank you for joining us, Femi.
Thank you so much for having me. Sarah, thanks for having me. Sarah.
All right, so very quickly, I'm sure you're aware of the security threat that was circulated on the 23rd of October 2022. And, you know, insecurity is a situation and a challenge that Nigeria has been trying to deal with for a very long time. Several administrations have put up several devices and several means to tackle this insecurity challenge. But it seems like they keep going around in circle because we're not seeing any form of improvement in that area. Now, I would like to start my conversation on this premise. This is not the first time we're getting situation reports and, you know, threat alerts like this about security situation in Nigeria. But when you saw this particular memo, what came to your mind?
Sarah, thanks for this question you asked. And I love the way you started the whole thing, as in a lot of things has been said, and it seems not to be arriving at a very good result. The threat was actually announced, the information was passed on to Nigerian. The Nigerian security system accepted the fact that, yes, they've been given information regarding this terror threats. They are aware and they're working on it. However, I will start my analysis based on what's just happened. I went around Lagos State yesterday, which was Sunday, and I went to some popular areas where crowd can be seen, family members, men, women, children can be seen. And to my greatest surprise, Sarah, I will confirm to you, and I would like to confirm to Nigeria as well, that we just talk security. We are not ready to tackle insecurity. We just talk about this system that, oh, the government is not doing this, the government is not doing that, that security seems to be adequate. Well, sadly, my honest opinion, we're not yet ready. People can easily get killed in all these crowded areas, which I call the soft spots. I went into a particular place yesterday and I was thinking in my head that, okay, this is how it works in some other Western countries when there's a terror threat alert, as in it's imminent, it could happen anytime, it's severe, it's not low risk, it's high risk. We need to see our security personnel moving around, not in a threatening way, but however, assuring the member of the public that yes, a lot of things can be done, but we are still not seeing all this play a part. So in view of this, I don't think the country is really ready to take security to the highest level. They should take it to assure the Nigerian public or the Nigerian populace or member of the public that yes, we are heads on to tackle the situation we have at hand.
All right, so one thing that was noted in that memo was the fact that despite the fact that the whole nation is at risk, it was particular about Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, which is the nation's seat of power. Now, this information coming up and having the nation's seat of power as the primary target, do you think that, because currently we're not in Abuja, so we don't know what the security situation is like, but do you think that more efforts and intentionality in regards to protecting the nation is channeled towards Abuja at this period rather than other parts of the nation?
I think let's put it to this very context. When you mention Abuja, what we should be all looking at is Abuja the only place that terror activities can strike? They might probably use Abuja to divert attention, and at the end of the day, somewhere else will be it because they know security around there will definitely, you know, be relaxed. So these are part of the issues we have. Yes, focus might be in Abuja. Yes, adequate security might be in Abuja. Yes, lockdown of some certain places can be happening in Abuja. But again, we need to look further than that. That, okay, what if Abuja is not their primary target? What if the place they really want to target is not even Abuja, but given Abuja so that the whole attention will be in Abuja? Are we doing the right thing or the wrong thing? This is where, or this is why they need to start looking into what other security ideas can be possible, what other ideas will definitely work, or how do we counter all these their threats. Is a threat. A threat could be anything. We might probably be thinking they want to attack member of the public or some infrastructure. Rather, they are looking somewhere else. So what ideas do we have? This is why I'm saying that yes, the threat is there. We focus solely on one place and leaving the rest others, just to be like that. This is my biggest worries to our security system in Nigeria.
So from what you've said, there's a possibility or a probability that these people might be doing some form of distraction, destructive technique, whereby they say they are focusing on a particular area and people channel energy to protect that area. Meanwhile, they attack somewhere else. Okay. Now,
absolutely, yes. This is what you call in security language. This is what you call diversion of strategy into something else, whereby we're meant to at least do proper lockdown, not as in total lockdown, but lockdown of strategies in some critical areas, because places that can actually be hit are just too easy. But we're not focusing on that. We're not putting attention on that. And the security awareness of what people should do has not really been embedded into people. Rather, all we hear is when you hear something, please say something. Something to who? To police. Which of the police departments? Which of the police numbers? Numbers that are not working? Or how do we go about all this? These are part of the concerns I have.
Right. Diversion of strategy. Now, you would recall that in time past, I remember the period where there used to be a lot of kidnapping of school children, particularly in the northern part of the country. We would see that there were times where there seemed to be some sort of negotiation or communication between these bandits and someone that is not a terrorist. I'll take, for example, Sheikh Malam Gumi. We have seen several times where he comes out to say, this is what these people want, this is what they're clamoring for. If you do this, if you do that. Now, when we talk about intelligence gathering, because it's a very important aspect in this area, when we're talking about intelligence gathering, how important for people that do not have a proper understanding or do not know the relevance of intelligence gathering, how relevant or how important is intelligence gathering in fighting insecurity, particularly in Nigeria?
Sarah, let me come into this very topic. It's a very sensitive topic, interesting topic, and at the same time, a very educative topic. There's what you call intelligence gathering, and there's what you call how you process this intelligence and how you work with this information you've actually gathered together. Gathering intelligence can be from any source. Gathering intelligence can be from the roadside, to streets, to member of the public, to children. It could be anyone. But who do we give this information to? How do they process this information? And how do they work with this information? And how do we get the feedback of this information being gathered together? People just assume intelligence gathering, but we're not looking at how do we work with all this information and how truthful are all this information being gathered? Could it be another strategy to divert people from doing the right thing or divert security from the work they're meant to do so that they focus solely on another thing entirely? That is why we're having this information. I can come up and say to police now that, oh, I have AXY information and this is critical, and plan something like a scenario that will make it look real good. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, I'm equally diverting their attention away from them so that we can focus on something else and do something different. So the question is this: we have loads and thousands of information getting across to our state governments, federal governments, security agencies every day, every time, every hour. But the way they process it is another issue. And how they work with it is another issue. But the key thing Nigerians want to see is, number one, how safe are we? How do we trust all this information? And again, are we giving this credit to people passing this information to you? Is another key thing. Because when you have information passed on from somewhere to somewhere, that means there's an informant somewhere. And if you keep having one particular informant every time, then you need to ask the question, how come it's you? Why are you passing this one every time? What are your sources? Where are the sources coming from? So these are little things they need to really work on and make sure that they work on it better. This is exactly why they need to really take care of the idea of this kidnapping issue, that why is one sole source giving us this information? Why is everything from this particular angle? Why are we not having from different angles? If we're having from different angles, it's a different ballgame. But if we're having one angle, one source from all the sources coming in, then we have a situation at hand, and they need to look solely into all this.
Right. Okay. Now, in regards to this particular alert, we've seen reports from Nigerian police force and even the DSS that they are going to contain the situation and do everything possible to, ensure that everybody is fine and that there's nothing to worry about. Nigerians should go about their daily normal activities. And we know Nigerians, a situation like this instills fear in them because there was a list of places that could be attacked, religious gatherings, marketplaces, public places, and all that. What should the Nigerian security agencies, what should they have done, or what should they do with this particular intelligence that they've gotten?
Thank you so much, Sarah. You see, there's one thing Nigerian security services need to drop away from their department, and that is what you call the egoistic ideas they have. They are too egoistic that, look, they know it all and they don't need to talk to anyone else, that they can handle it. No, they cannot handle it. Why I said that is this. If you look at these places you mentioned, worship places, shopping malls, offices, who are those guarding these places? Who are the people securing these places? They are just private security officers. Then what is the synergy between federal government security services and private security officers? Do they have any synergy? Have you seen them probably in any training consultation services together so that there can be a bit of understanding as in, okay, this is what we know, and this is how we want you guys to respond to A, X, Y, Z. We've not seen that. So there's a gap, and the gap is very wide. And once you have a very wide gap, there will be security lapses, and that is what we have today. A lot of lapses, and the federal government, the state government are not looking at it that, yes, the people they need to focus on, to work with, to build the capacity with, are the private security firms doing these little jobs that makes no sense to them. However, this is where the attack will definitely be landing. And once it lands there, what did they do? How did they cope with it? What are the measures put in place? Nothing. So we have a problem. Do they have materials to work with all this stuff? No, they don't have it. Except if we just want to play along with politics that A, X, Y, Z is this, is that. No, we don't have anything. So the federal government should look inward and outward, as in, how do we put all these guys together and make sure that they work with us, we work with them to achieve a better result, to counter all these threats we have today. If we cannot do that, then we have a long way to go, and we know you're ready to tackle this insecurity we have in the country today.
All right, let's talk about dialogue. Now, I know that in time past, dialogue has been one of the methods that has been preferred to fighting insecurity. There have been times where they say, meet with these people, ask them what they want. And I remember clearly that the governor of Kaduna State at the time, in person of Nasir El-Rufai, once said he was not going to have any sort of dialogue with the bandits or terrorists because it's indulged them. It makes them go ahead because they know, even if I say I want this, you give me this, I will still come back and do it again. So besides dialogue, what other means can be adopted in fighting this issue? Because in the real sense of it, it's affecting every sector of the nation. It's affecting every area. School children are no longer safe. Teachers are no longer safe. Railroads, airports, everywhere is not safe again. So if dialogue is not helping, if it's not solving the problem, what other methods can be adopted to solve the situation?
As far as I'm concerned with the experience I've got in security far and wide, dialogue will still always be the best way. Sitting down round table talk will still be a very good way. But however, and I'm saying it and I'm really saying it, however, there's one particular program that Nigeria seems to be missing. Yes, some corporate organizations, some NGOs are having it done for their staff members only, but we neglect, or some sectors are being neglected, and the program is what we call the Hostile Environment Awareness Training. That simply means if we have any situation, what do we do? Before we have the situation, how do we prevent situations not happening? Even if we have situation happening, how do we protect the people from not getting injured at all? So again, how do we deter people? How do we lecture people to really let them understand what hostage taking is, kidnapping is, and again, how do we work around the situation of engaging our youths? Because people doing all this stuff are youths. I remember a serving military man once told me that he would rather put a gun to his own head personally rather than a school sat or a 6-year or 12-year-old primary 6 living certificate boy put an AK-47 to ward him around. That is a military man saying that to me, and I was like, wow, that's a powerful word. So that means we should have a strategy in place to work with a member of the public, and we should have a strategy in place to empower all these our youths so that they can have something doing rather than just jobless, aimless, hopeless, and think the best way they can go around is perpetrating evil activities that is actually crippling the country at the moment. But the government seems to probably be looking the other way. Why? Because of politics. Why? They want to be relevant. Why? They want to still stay in power. So there might actually be another actors that we need to talk to that, look, nothing lasts forever. But the only thing that can last forever is if we have peace of mind in our community, if we have peace of mind in our country, then a lot will definitely be sorted out. But if we don't do all this, kidnapping and all other criminal activities will always continue, because we've given up that youths are nothing except if we want them to be something. But for us to want them to be something, we need to engage with them. These are part of the ways we can actually dialogue and make sure that things are working the best way for us.
Okay, so that sort of brings in the part of empowering youths and creating job opportunities.
Yes. Because if we don't have all this empowerment program in place, and be honest with the empowerment program, not to make it a political thing, but make it to be an open thing that anybody can just come in and get it done. Then we're getting somewhere, but without that, we're not.
All right. So some people are of the opinion, or they believe that the Nigerian security agencies and forces that we have do not have the capacity and ability to handle issues like this, threats like this, that they do not have the know-how and all the resources needed to properly deal with situations like this. What's your opinion? And that this is in relation to several other times where issues like this have come up, maybe not this intense, and then we've seen that those attacks were eventually carried out. What's your opinion on that in that regard?
Sarah, I will tell you this. We don't need to look down on our security personnel or officers we have in Nigeria. I have always been in contact with them. I'm always engaging with them, and I've always been in touch with them. They really want to work. They are working, but what we lack is the government willpower capacity to re-empower them.
All right, so that's on us as a country to make sure we provide all the necessary things that these security agencies need. Now, some people are of the school of thought that there's no synergy between the United States government and the federal government or the Federal Republic of Nigeria in regards to this threats and all that. Do you also belong to that school of thought?
No, but I do not want to believe in that school of thought that there's no synergy. Of course, there's a lot of synergy between them. However, we might probably have a bit of differences as in, no, you should not say this, I should say this, or somebody trying to prove superiority against one another. That would definitely happen. Nigeria is a big country. I'm not saying US is not a big country or not a powerful country, but please, US should not even look down completely on Nigeria that we don't know what we're doing. They have their own issues and they should allow us deal with our own local issues the way we can actually deal with it. Synergy is always a good thing in between countries. Partnership is a good thing, but not in a way of insulting or undermining our security architecture or our security challenges. That shouldn't be the case.
Okay, so you just said now that it should allow us to and deal with our things our own way. Don't you think that we need some sort of foreign interference at this point to combat this insecurity issue? Because in all sincerity, it started as a child's play, but it has generated into something that is difficult to contain. So don't you think it's time for us to actually get foreign interference, foreign assistance in combating this insecurity?
Well, Sarah, can I ask you a question? Do you know the number of foreign alliance we have with a lot of people in other countries helping and intervening into the Nigerian situation today? We have loads. In fact, nearly all the countries are actually, interfering. Nearly all the countries all over the world are pouring in support.
Improvement, even with all this.
This is not about improvement. This is all about, can I give you what I don't have? All this situation is going back again into political businesses. This is the problem. It is not just about, oh, we want to do this freely for you guys. No, it's all about, if I do this for you, what am I gaining back from you? This is what war has always been all about.
So it's like an exchange, like a transaction.
Into Nigeria, yes, there is always an underlying factor that people don't know. We security officers, we security personnel, we know all this. Nothing is free. No cake is free. No bread is free. Everything, you give me one, I give it to you. Give me two, I give you five. This is what the system has always been. And America coming into Nigeria, please, they have their own issues. How many countries will you tell me that America have gone to war and how many wars have they? Tell me, they are winning. How many? Nothing, zero. So don't let us start focusing on, oh, we're looking down Nigeria. Nigeria is nothing. Nigeria is this, Nigeria is that. No, we know, yes, we should recognize the fact that we have our issues. We want foreign intervention. We want foreign help, but at what capacity? What price are we paying for all this stuff is now an issue. A lot of people don't know it, but I'm putting it across. That is one of the biggest issues that America is having with Nigeria. It is not just about, oh, we give you the information, you're not using it. No, it's far more than that.
All right. So as we prepare to wrap up very quickly now, Nigerians are terrified. Nigerians are scared. They don't know where this attack would come from, if it would be in a religious gatherings, marketplace, supermarket, roadside, and all that. What word of advice, encouragement would you give to Nigerians out there as a security expert? And what form of precautionary measures would you also give to Nigerians at this point?
Well, what I will say is this: we should not stop living our lives and we should not stop doing what we know how to do best. We can't say because of tiny little guys moving around to cause threats that we should stop living our lives. However, if we see anything that is suspicious to us, please let us go to the nearest police station or call the emergency numbers that has been shared across board all over the country, and call and let us see how it's going to help. If we see anything that is not right, or any bags, or it could be anything along the road, please do not pick. You never can tell what is inside it. Rather, call the attention of the nearest security officers you have around. So please pay attention to that. If you see anybody walking around your street that's got no reason to be there at that particular point in time, try as much as possible to challenge the person or ask few questions, but ask questions in a professional way. Do not go and ask questions aggressively, and try to even be your police friend. Let your police be your friend. At this point in time, we need them more than any other things.
Right, police is your friend. Thank you so much, Femi Aratukwali, for joining us and for sharing your thoughts with us on this issue of insecurity in Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Do have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.
And you too. Have a good day. Bye.